Well, Antonio, thank you so much for being with me here today. Maybe just quickly, it'd be good to hear what it was like working together.
I remember seeing your post on LinkedIn, submitting the application, and like you got back within like 48 hours. You just called me up and were like, hey, introduce yourself, explaining like what are you doing, what do you specialize in, and you kind of just qualified me, make sure that um there's a potential fit there. Then I remember we scheduled that brief call, really got to know each other, got to know the role, got more familiarized, just like how you operate, the company operates. And then not too far after that, I remember you set me up with a call with my current CEO, um, which, like I said, was all really fast within a few days. I believe it was like 2 days after that. So very, very quickly, just turned around and you were very responsive, and I appreciate that. I could always just like shoot you a text message or give you a quick call. Um, which the interview went great. Felt like there was a lot of synergy. Um, I understood her mission. She understood where I was coming from and the knowledge I could bring to the table. Not so much in tech, but on the real estate aspect. After that, uh, she had me meet up with the team in person to make sure that we could bond. There was some synergy, and then I remember I was in a tough spot because I had an offer on the table from another company. I was like, "Hey Sam, like I have an offer. They're kind of giving me a deadline. Can we push to get an offer on your end?" And you made ends meet, you got that offer out, and it made much more sense to go with them. So like, kudos to you, man. I appreciate it. You were super responsive, very timely. There was a sense of urgency, and you just got it done.
Absolutely. And what, it's been 7 or 8 months now?
Yeah, I started October 2nd.
Nice. And how is things? How are things?
It's been a journey. When I joined, there was only one other sales rep, and now we have three total, including myself. It was very like kind of discombobulated. People were just taking whatever count they could. We didn't really have any standard SOPs. So my first month, when we hired the other sales rep as well, we kind of took a step back and we're like, all right, listen, we need to build the foundation for the sales team and the sales organization. We have to build SOPs. We have like every demo has to be the same, every outreach has to be the same. Everyone has to be tracking certain metrics so we can predict what our sales is going to be. If we do X amount of calls, we're going to produce X amount of deals into X amount of revenue. So we kind of spent about a month and a half really just building out these scripts, these SOPs, so we can kind of hit the ground running. Because we found ourselves in a bit of a mess. We had like a huge conference season. We were running around for a month. We had all these leads, and then once those leads dried up, we had nothing.
Right.
So we had to take a step back, build a foundation, and like ever since January, we kind of just hit the ground running in terms of just outbound. We've been crushing the phones, crushing emails, getting people on the phone, and our names getting out there. So the pipeline has really just grown in the last 3 months. It's been pretty incredible.
I think one of the things that you said that's kind of interesting to me as well, and I say this a lot, often when I'm working with these small earlier stage companies as well, on the candidate side is like some candidates really aren't okay with that ambiguity, right? Like some people do not want to come in and like, hey, we have to create SOPs. Hey, we have to like just create a way to to tame some of this chaos and actually turn it into something predictable. Yeah, and I think it can be like a difficult paradigm for some people just to get their heads around. And I think again, like one of the reasons I was so responsive is you were such a good candidate, right? And
Appreciate it.
when you find a great candidate, you got to move them forward. Like that's something I'm always saying to clients as well.
Yeah, I agree. And just when it comes to the startup world and these early venture companies, these new sales reps really have to understand that it's going to be a business within a business, and you have to accept that. You're not going to be like, hey, here's what we do, and I'm going to handhold you throughout this entire process. You really just have to understand first, just know your product end to end. You have to understand what it is where you're selling, and then after that, it's a business within the business. You got to create. You got to be an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur within a company to really make it work. And it's not for everybody. It's a thing that people usually within the first 3 months figure out whether it's for them or not.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to boast about?
Nah, I think that, it's been great. I think you've done a great job working with us, and right now we're in a pretty good spot. We just closed the seed funding round, and we have a ton in the pipeline, so lots of good things in the future. I'm pumped.
Love it. Love it. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate it, Sin.